What's up everyone, Darcblade here with a breakdown video of the Monster Hunter Rise digital event. This stream was hosted today by Capcom, and much like the Iceborne and Monster Hunter World developer diaries, it gave us insight into the upcoming title. In this video I'm going to break down and recap what was mentioned and what was shown off for people who may have missed it. Now, as always, this presentation started off with a short teaser trailer that we've already seen, showing some of the monsters that they've already announced for the game. But then Ryozo Tsuchimoto started to go into a bit more detail. They showed off a brand new trailer that gave us hints at what we can expect with Monster Hunter Rise. This included a look at the new Gathering Hub, training area, new and returning monsters, turf wars, and a brand new mechanic called Wyvern Riding. The trailer was quite extensive and gave us a lot of information, especially in regards to returning and new monsters. After the trailer, they then went on to talk a little bit more in depth about what was actually shown off in the trailer. They talked about the locales, which was a location known as the Frost Islands. This former dragon nest is more like a graveyard now, but it's going to be the ice region of the game. So we can expect to find a lot of monsters associated with the ice element there. They then went on to talk about the monsters that would appear in this location. This included Gos Harag, which is a fanged beast, which I believe is new to the Monster Hunter series. This bears more similarities to the bear type wyverns and monsters we fight rather than the monkey type monsters like Rajan, but they're both classed as fanged beasts. Nonetheless, this monster's unique ability and gimmick is that it's able to use its breath to create icy blades on its paws. This will obviously increase its damage and inflict hunters with ice blight. They then went on to talk about a few of the other monsters that would be appearing in this area, such as Barioth, who will be making its return. Kezu will also be returning. Monster Hunter World fans may not have experienced this monster yet, but it's a creepy monster to say the least. The Great Baggie was another new monster that was announced that will be appearing in this area. This seems like it's going to be the punching bag of this area. It's a bird wyvern and bears many similarities to other bird wyverns you find, as in it has a little gang that follows it around and it's able to put hunters to sleep with its breath attack. Another fanged beast, Lagombi, will also be making its return, which brings us on to the final monster they showed off in regards to the Frost Islands, which is the return of Tigrex. Everyone's favourite chargy, bitey, flying wyvern. But these weren't all the monsters that were shown off. They did show off a few monsters that are going to be associated with other areas, including the return of one of my favourites, Mitsune. And of course they showed off a little bit more in regards to the flagship monster, Magnamalo. So there was a lot of information to take in from this trailer. But one of the new aspects that they went into a bit more detail about was Wyvern Riding, a new mechanic added to the game. Now, after you've tried to mount a monster enough times, used wirebug attacks on it, used turf wars against the monster, you'll get an option to actually mount the monster and use it as a rideable mount, using it to attack either other monsters or causing it to run into objects in the environment. It also seemed that you were able to perform certain unique moves with different monsters depending which one you've mounted. For example, during the trailer, it showed the hunter riding both Tigrex and Rathalos. When riding Tigrex, it showed the monster using its boulder projectile attack, and whilst Rathalos was being rode, the hunter was able to use its fireball. So it's going to be interesting how this pans out. The presentation then went on to talk a little bit more about the various characters we're going to meet in Monster Hunter Rise, from the village elder to the twins, and a lot more. On top of that, they talked about a training area, which is similar to what we had with Monster Hunter World, where we get to test our weapons against certain dummies and that. You can even change the dummies that you fight in the training area, akin to Iceborne, so it's going to be a great way to practice the new mechanics as well as learn the weapons in the game. Capcom then went on to recap the release date of the game, which is March 26, 2021, for anyone who doesn't know, for Nintendo Switch. And of course they're releasing a small line of various amiibos. But what most people were here for was to find out more information regarding the demo of Monster Hunter Rise. And they weren't disappointed. They gave us lots of information regarding the demo, which is released on the 7th of January. This may change slightly depending where you live in the world, but on the whole it's going to be running from the 7th of January through to the 1st of February. So you've got 3 weeks to try out the demo. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to experience due to the lack of a Nintendo Switch. But if you've got one, feel free to download the demo and try it out. During the demo, you'll have access to 4 quests. These include 2 normal hunts and 2 training hunts. For the normal hunts, you'll have a beginner and an intermediate quest. The beginner quest has players taking on a Great Izuchi, whilst the intermediate quest has players taking on Mitsune. Of course, players will have access to all 14 weapons to try out as well, although it doesn't appear you have access to the training area as such. However, you do get to training quests. First of all, there's a basic training quest which teaches you the basics of the wire bug, and then you also have access to a Wyvern Riding quest as well, which teaches you the mechanics behind this new feature. So in a way, I'm quite surprised that the demo is going to be available for so long, even though they're saying it is a limited time event. 3 weeks is quite a substantial time for a demo like this. In the past, we've only normally got a weekend or two. But nonetheless, it's a great way for players to experience Monster Hunter Rise, check it out, see if they want to pick it up for themselves, and so on. Capcom did say that over the next few weeks leading up to the launch of Monster Hunter Rise as well, they'll be releasing new videos as well as tutorials on the various new mechanics such as the wire bug and Wyvern Riding. So check them out. Also, if you want to, check out the full presentation, I'll have it linked in the description below. It's worth a watch if you want some more details, but overall I was quite impressed with the presentation. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about Monster Hunter Rise. I'm part excited, part anxious. I'm a little bit disappointed that once again it's going to be restricted to a few select systems, namely the Nintendo Switch with the possibility of the PC later on in the year. But nonetheless, the combat and actual gameplay looks really enticing. My main concern is the graphics and the environments, which seem a lot less dense than they were with Monster Hunter World, but of course there could be development restrictions and such. But what are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below, and until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you a breakdown of the Monster Hunter Rise digital presentation. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.